Welcome! In this video, we will talk about how the Optimi application delivery engine simplifies your microservices environment for complex applications. Application delivery is hard, period. While there are a lot of tools that make container orchestration easier, there are still way too many moving parts. The resulting complexity trickles down to the developers, who have to manage disjoint configurations, policies, manifests, and so on. Many custom tools are required to tie all of these moving pieces together into a coherent system. If we look at the stack, there is little to no focus on the application services themselves. Instead, the focus is on the infrastructure and containers. Once we look at ops, governance, and security control, it still gets in the way of the developers and makes their day-to-day life hard. This leads to lack of ownership boundaries and no separation of concerns, which are crucial to making application delivery easier. Optimi simplifies the definition of an application service and its delivery and control. A developer specifies a self-contained autonomous service with all service, lifecycle, and resource controls defined. Once the service is defined, it is shared for consumption with other users, teams, or services. Sharing is done in a way that the service can be consumed and reused without understanding the inner workings of the service. Consumers can focus on their deliverables and their services without having to worry about how the service they rely on works. This greatly simplifies the interactions between teams and saves a lot of time. Once a service is up and running, Optimi allows you to observe and control services in a highly contextualized way. You always know what dependencies exist, why those dependencies have been instantiated, where things are running, on whose behalf they were instantiated, and who's consuming them. Optimi can also answer questions around what would happen if you were to change some of the rules and configurations. Additionally, Optimi allows ops, governance, and security controls done in a way that does not disturb the developer or the service owner. Optimi sits on top of the microservices infrastructure and relies on the package and configuration mechanism provided within the Kubernetes ecosystem, such as Helm, or it can work directly with YAML files. Optimi takes the service intent, which is the code, service definition and rules, and all of the definitions of the cross-service or application team dependencies. In addition, Optimi takes in ops, governance, and security rules, along with service ownership information to adaptively control the services, with performance, state, and other operational data influencing the enforcement. Optimi deploys, operates, scales, and updates services for you and runs them on multiple clusters and clouds. Optimi helps developers focus on what matters, defining and running their services, as opposed to dealing with individual containers and disjoint configs. Optimi enables team and project collaboration without forcing heavy processes on developers and operations. It allows teams to join hands and define, share, consume services and resources across team and organizational boundaries in a seamless fashion, yet remains highly controllable. Optimi does not require centralized ownership. It can be owned by multiple teams and used in a peer-to-peer fashion. Optimi allows you to deploy on top of Kubernetes clusters and clouds in an easily controlled fashion, including management of resource usage, operations, as well as security and governance constraints. What Optimi allows you to do is, through integration with CI/CD pipelines, is to treat everything as code. Whether this is service definitions, sharing, operational rules, environmental rules, governance, and security, all of this can be treated as code by the respective development teams. The Optimi delivery mesh ties it all together into a single coherent system. In summary, Optimi simplifies rollout and operation of container-based applications and services on Kubernetes and introduces a service-centric abstraction focused on understanding the relationships between application components, rather than today's infrastructure-centric approach. Thank you for listening. Please visit us and join the conversation in one of these channels. Thank you.